It's the final round of the group stages of the UEFA Champions League, and it's a juicy one tomorrow. Barcelona up against Tottenham. Craig Burley is joining me for this preview. So here's how things are looking. Barcelona already through to the next round. Spurs, though, level on points with Inter Milan. So basically, Spurs must equal or better whatever Inter Milan do in their match against PSV to go through. And Craig, we know Barcelona already through, possibly could rest a couple of players. No Luis Suarez. With that, can you make a case for Spurs?
Yes, I think obviously Inter being at home to PSV is you know, a bit of a body blow because PSV eliminated.
Yeah.
Inter could rack some scoreline up there. PSV have been relatively competitive in this competition, and not in terms of the points, but in terms of some of the performances. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Look, Tottenham thought they were dead and buried a couple of games ago. They've got some new life about them. They're actually playing well. They had a really bad performance against Arsenal at the Emirates. But apart from that, there's been some really good performances in the last few weeks. And they will, of course, go with the strongest team. But you mentioned it. What does Barcelona do? Is Messi going to play? Because, you don't if Messi plays and, he never takes it easy. He never switches off. If he plays 100%. And he wants to score and he wants to win. So it depends what Valverde does. How many players he leaves out. He's got no obligation to Inter Milan to play his strongest team, or he can do what he wants. Bearing in mind he's in a tough fight in La Liga. Real Madrid are now top. We're coming into a busy period over Christmas and New Year. So I mean, he could leave out half a dozen players, and if he does, there is an opportunity for Tottenham. I mean, I'm not saying there's not an opportunity if he plays a strong team, but I think going to Nou Camp and getting a result, particularly if Messi plays, it is going to be difficult. I just think Tottenham have left it to that final furlong, and they're just not going to catch the horse in front. I just don't think they're going to do it. I can't see it.
Prediction then?
I'm going to say that Inter are going to beat PSV at home, and Tottenham may or may not get a draw, but I don't see them beating Barcelona in their own patch unless he makes and absolutely plays the B team, which I don't think is going to happen.
I don't think that will happen either. Thanks so much to Craig Burley. Remember to catch all of the action from the Champions League this week right here at ESPN FC. Alexis Nunes alongside Craig Burley. It's a big week, the final round of the group stages of the UEFA Champions League, and some juicy fixtures indeed. Let's start off with this one. A lot of eyes will be on Liverpool, who have been flying high in the Premier League, not so much in the Champions League. They're up against Napoli, Craig. So Liverpool need to win by 1-0 or by 2 clear goals. So how do you see this one going?
Yeah, 1-0 will take them through, and obviously if Napoli score, it becomes a bit more complicated because then they need a 2 clear goal deficit.
And PSG up against Red Star Belgrade.
Yes, I mean, we're giving PSG a victory in Belgrade, which both Napoli and Liverpool found difficult.
Exactly.
But I think from the mindset of Liverpool and Napoli, they've got to think, right, PSG will probably get the business done. So it's not going to be I would be shocked if it's a 0-0 draw at Anfield. I would be absolutely shocked. I think it's going to be a great game. There's been lots of great nights at Anfield. Liverpool were poor in Napoli, so they want to make amends for that. They've been strong at home in the Champions League, and they've been poor away. Both teams, if they falter and don't make it through, will both probably look back to Belgrade, where they both suffered. But I expect a big Liverpool performance. Napoli left some players out at the weekend. They had an easy win against Frosinone. They left out Maksimovic. They left out Fabian Ruiz, they left out Dries Mertens. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 others. Got the job done comfortable, so clearly Ancelotti is focusing on this huge game.
As he should. Can I squeeze a prediction out of you?
Do you know, I've been caught between a rock and a hard place in this one for the last week on the show. I'll go for a narrow 1-0 victory for Liverpool, but I think if Napoli score, I think Liverpool might struggle to get the extra goal.
All right, well, it definitely.
So I'm really sitting on the fence with this one. It's
a hard one to.
It's just a guessing. It's such a hard one to call. They're 2 very good sides. It depends what mentality and what team turns up and who makes more mistakes, who makes less mistakes. It's going to be that close.
All right, thanks so much to Craig Burley. This is definitely a tough one to call, but make sure to track it right here on ESPN FC.
Hello, welcome to Extra Time. Peter Walton is here, ladies and gentlemen. What a moment.
Thank you.
Have you asked for a rise?
Good afternoon.
I've asked for a rise.
Yeah. Well, now that you're the tweeter, ask the questions.
But it's interesting. People ask much more interesting questions when I tweet it out as opposed to FC. It's strange.
You must have better
Are you saying when FC tweets it out, we got a load of dough balls? Yeah, I'll say that. Would do. They're slightly more articulate now.
Yeah, let me be the judge of that.
Well, yes,
let me be the judge of that.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes. Yes, it is a Christmas movie.
Why?
That's Bruce Willis, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a Christmas movie, because he's always playing at Christmas,
Right.
for one thing, and she was attending a Christmas party, his wife was,
Right.
and there's all Christmas trees everywhere, so it's a Christmas
Movie for you?
No.
movie. It is.
Is it?
Well, there's not a right or wrong answer. It's
isn't
an
there?
eternal
A
debate.
Christmas movie's what you like at Christmas, isn't it?
No, I like...
Buzz Lightyear.
No, I like Zulu. I like Zulu.
Right.
I like The Great Escape.
That's a Christmas movie for you?
Yeah, one of these days, Steve McQueen is going to get over that fence, you know, on his bike.
Yeah.
They're going to re-digitalise
What's he doing on his bike?
He's doing that on his bike. He's revving it up. Yep, and Zulu, Great Escape.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
Oh,
One of the old ones.
Alec Guinness.
What about 2 years ago when I watched the documentary on YouTube about inside North Korea?
Yeah, that was your Christmas day.
That was my Christmas day.
That's when you were left alone.
I was
wasn't it?
abandoned.
I think it was abandoned watching that.
I was.
Yeah, so there you go. That's mine. Great Escape.
Yeah.
Zulu.
Home Alone.
See, for me, Love Actually.
Of course.
Oh,
no.
Have you not seen it?
Hugh
You
Grant.
hate it.
Hugh Grant, when he dances along, right?
Yes.
What's the other one with Hugh Grant and
Four Weddings
Four
and a Funeral?
no,
Which one?
with Julia Roberts?
Oh, Notting Hill.
Oh, no,
Yeah, Notting Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me cry, that did.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is the criteria used to determine whether VAR will stop the play for a closer look versus just signalling down to the ref to have play continue?
These infamous words are clear and obvious. So if the VAR operative thinks it's clear and obvious to pretty much everybody that the referee has missed something substantial, he'll bring it to the referee's view and say to the referee he suggests he has a look. Otherwise, the VAR will look at it, an instant, will check it as the saying goes, and say to the referee, check complete, we're all happy, get on with the game.
Right. Referee misses an incident in the penalty area.
Yep.
Handball, whatever it is. VAR's checking it as they're checking it all the time. The other team busts up the field.
Yep.
Super quick counter attack. Within 7 or 8 seconds, they've got the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Just before he's done his full check.
Yeah.
Is that goal chopped off and they go back and award the penalty kick?
That's actually happened. That situation has actually happened, and what happens is the first offence comes into play.
Stands.
So the goal is chalked off, would you believe?
Yes.
We go back, we have a look,
Yeah.
and if it's a handball, a deliberate handball, that's clear and obvious, the referee gives a penalty kick.
Could you be with VAR? Because then you don't need to run anymore. All you do is sit there and have a look at the telly.
You mean don't
I bet
read
he struggles with that.
yeah. No,
Struggles with the TV.
I could be a VAR.
Was that ever on the table, that they were
No.
looking at old
No, come
referees?
No,
Really old.
Come to think of it, it wasn't.
No?
I think it's much easier if you are used to decision making and quick thinking, as referees are.
Well,
on
that's
the,
your stuff,
as
isn't
the
it?
referees are on the field. So
That's- on 2 counts you're out.
Get referees.
Decision making, I'll give you a 50-50 on decision making, but on quick thinking, you're out.
I refereed you many times. Okay, I had to be quick thinking with you on the field. However, going back to your question,
Get the yellow card.
current referees or current assistant referees, in my opinion, make better VARs than ex.
You wouldn't need to remember your cards if you're on VAR?
Well, that happened once, by the way. Okay.
By the way,
That is
do
still-
you know when you were working for BT Sport the other week?
Oh, was I? Yeah.
Doing a game? Yes, you were. You were moonlighting. But
don't remember that.
we've got a partnership
Yeah,
with them, so we're okay.
Yeah, move on.
I googled your name because you're not on social media. There was a couple of very close incidents in the game that you had to judge on, whatever game it was, and I googled your name, and it was very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
What people.
Just don't Google my name, okay? That's why
I just put it on Twitter when I was sat at home, and I thought, I wonder what people are saying about old Pete Walton.
That's my favourite pastime. When you're calling a game, half-time, type in Craig Burley. Oh, it's fantastic.
Cascade. Actually, I'm going to start.
You should go on Twitter because Steve Nichols off, so they need an extra person.
Yeah, well, don't put me in the same. Don't put me in the same media social group as
Beef
Steve.
the numbers up.
How do you feel about the Ronaldo comments about Messi and Madrid? Did you see these?
No.
So Cristiano Ronaldo was asked whether or not if Messi misses him or he missed Messi. And he said, well, maybe Messi misses me. He could come here. Juventus is awesome. It's the best teammates that I've had. It would be a good challenge for him.
What, to go and be Ronaldo's teammate?
Well, go and play in Italy.
Oh, right. Yeah, some team that. Did you see Ibrahimovic's comments?
No, what did he say?
He said, we know now, after all these years, now that Modric has won the Ballon d'Or, that it's Florentino Perez that picks the Ballon d'Or winners.
Ah.
Not Messi and Ronaldo.
Wow, there you go.
Basically saying the reason Ronaldo won all the Ballon d'Ors that he did is because of
Florentino.
Real Madrid and Florentino Perez.
Should Messi leave Barcelona to test himself? Going back to that
point. I don't think Messi doesn't.
I think he should.
I'd love to see him go play somewhere else, but I don't think he has to test himself against
From a refereeing opinion, I think he should. I think he's achieved so much in Spain now with Barcelona that he's reached his plateau, and I think he'll plateau out. And I think he'll plateau.
Didn't you see him at the weekend?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
3 plateaus.
He doesn't have to prove himself at all in Spain, and I think.
So he's still got to prove himself in your eyes?
No, he's got to prove himself in his own self. You know, he's his own.
Surely he knows his own self.
No, he's
getting very deep.
No, he is. He's got his own belief, and I think a transfer away into another segment would be better for him.
Did you ever referee him?
No, I didn't. No.
There are still some blockheads out there who think that he would have to go and prove himself as a player in other countries.
No, he doesn't need to prove himself as a player.
Could he do it in England?
I think for a personal aspect, he's probably looking for a bit more.
I think from an interest aspect, if you see the interest that was with Ronaldo going to Juve, how much interest that drummed up, even during the World Cup, which I'm sure was well timed by Ronaldo himself. But the interest in him going to whatever country, whether it was Germany or Italy or England or wherever, would be it would be unbelievable. I personally would like to see him do it, but I don't think he will.
It's like when Peter joined MLS, remember that?
Yeah.
The fanfare, the excitement. Oh. Then Howard Webb comes.
And then elbow went.
That's it. Peter, that's it. You've got a train to catch.
I have indeed.
Have a lovely time on the train.
Driven by Howard. He's the conductor.
No, Howard's in first class.
Is he putting the coal in at the back?
Move on. Here we go.
That's it. Wait, what are you doing for dinner tonight then? New York?
Taking my wife out in New York.
Oh,
lovely.
Romance. Olive Garden.
$10 bottle of wine for me again then.
Mark Ogden's writing about you-know-who over on the website. Paul Pogba actually makes Manchester United worse and is incompatible with Jose Mourinho's team. Craig?
Well, he's incompatible in his current guise, which is a guy loping around the field, not doing particularly much, with an attitude that's, quite frankly, stinks of, I want the manager out, and when I get the manager out, then you'll see the real Paul Pogba. That's kind of what we're getting at the moment, so I think that's what Mark and a lot of people are getting at. And I think it was evident in United's performance in the last couple of games. OK, they were against Fulham at the weekend. They're hapless. 1 point on the road. Let's not celebrate beating the worst team in the Premier League, because that's where United fans are at the moment. But the team is operating better as a unit without him, because they're harder working, there's a little bit better shape. Of course, they haven't got the flair of a Paul Pogba. But what's the point having a guy who's putting in half a shift because he doesn't like the manager? So the whole thing stinks.
How disruptive is it? You must have been in dressing rooms where managers getting on with players and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I was involved in most of them.
I'm sure you were the player. It must be a weird dynamic between everyone.
Well, look, managers have always got favourites, and sometimes those favourites and players that they don't like so much. But sometimes those players that they don't like so much play more than the favourites, because needs must. It's always a tricky dynamic within any football club. And at the end of the day, if the manager loses the power to direct the players, he's done.
Yeah.
He's toast, because ultimately he's going to set the training up for the week. He's going to set the agenda. He's going to pick the subs. He's going to pick the tactics. And he's going to give you the team talk. And he's the one that has to come up and speak to you before the game at half-time and instruct. And if you have a player who has no respect for you, then he's not going to take that instruction on board. And I think that's where we are with Pogba. And it goes back to what I've been saying on here for weeks and weeks, Dan. I think it could come a point where United should get rid of the two of them. And there is talk about Pogba possibly going back to Juventus.
Well, Romelu Lukaku seems to have turned a page, Craig Burley. He's scoring again. So what's been his secret? Well, He has finally told us what it is. Have a look at this quote. He said that in the Premier League, I cannot play with the same amount of muscle as international football. That was something that when I came back, this is after the World Cup, I knew straight away, nah, I cannot play in this style like this. So he had to go on a bit of a diet and bulk down. Too ripped for the Premier League, Craig. And if we're talking about muscly men, we have to go to Craig Burley. Craig,
Well, I don't...
did you have this problem ever?
No.
Too ripped for the Premier League.
I don't get this at all. I mean, how do you differentiate what your muscle mass is for Premier League football or domestic football and international football? There's no difference. You're either fit or you're not. I mean, the World Cup was only in the summer. You know, what happened between last season when he was playing at United and he finished second and he was doing okay? How the hell did he turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger in 4 weeks? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was in, where was it? Oh, Russia. He was in Russia for 4 or 5 weeks, and did he turn into the
Incredible Hulk.
Exactly, and then all of a sudden he's not playing well, and it's the muscle mass. I mean, honestly, look.
Is there any truth to this, though, that you could probably sympathize with him or see where he's going with this?
No, you can bulk up too much. It's like a boxer. If you got a boxer that's too bulked up, they become too slow, particularly the bigger guys. However, having a bit extra muscle mass isn't giving you a bad first touch. Right? It's not stopping you from making clever runs in behind. It's not stopping you from linking up play. Right? So let's be frank here. This is just another one of the umpteen excuses that have come out of this club from manager, from players, from board about why they're not performing.
I'm going to trust Craig Burley because look at this man. Lean, mean machine. He's dropped a couple of pant sizes, so Lukaku might want to join the Craig Burley diet.
Well, first of all, we're not condoning any of that nature at all. And if you do hear something about it, you need, as an official, to do something about it. Now, it's happened to me in the past where it's happened, and I've stopped the game.
Really?
Literally stopped the game, walked over to the benches, called the security people forward, told them that I've heard or it has been reported to me that there's some issues happening in a certain section of the ground, and make sure the security are around there. So that's one tangible aspect that a referee can do in terms of making people aware of it. Put it over public tannoy system so that you have their peer groups looking at one another and build the pressure up on the individual.
The referee didn't hear it. We understand.
No, it's understandable.
in this instance.
It's an amazing privilege some of these people think they have, that because they pay money to go to a ground or a season ticket, they can go in there and say what they want. Do you think that's a privilege? Do you think that's their right? Whether it be racist or threatening behaviour, I've heard it all. I've heard it all over the years. And, Raheem Sterling was there and he was close to it and he heard it. And what gets me is that generally we're not talking about, whenever we see incidents or hear about them, we're in general not talking about teenage thugs or people. We're always tending to talk about people who you would expect a different reaction from. And listen, you've only got to go on social media, and you've only got to go on social media and see how angry and vile people can be over a game of football.